Well, the election is over, the votes have been tallied, and the results are in. Right? Maybe not quite. We did find out late Tuesday night that Donald Trump would be our next president and that overall Republicans fared well nationally and in North Carolina. But the race for governor between Pat McCrory and Roy Cooper is so close that we've gone to verifying and counting provisional and absentee ballots. Now, technically, absentee voters only had to have their ballots postmarked by Election Day, so everyone be patient and, check your mail carefully and make sure no ballots were accidentally mailed to the wrong address. I sometimes get mail intended for my neighbors. Even after all these ballots are counted, we could still be in for a full recount. So again, be patient. Now, Roy Cooper seems to have a lead that only an NC State football team could blow. He's up by a few thousand votes, and based on history and trends in this election, the ballots still coming in aren't likely to be overwhelmingly in McCrory's favor, as he would need to overtake Cooper. McCrory is asking everyone to trust the process. He's also oddly still asking for campaign donations and volunteers, presumably to canvass neighborhoods and look for absentee ballots that may have ended up in the Board of Elections neighbors' mailboxes. See? But with the success of other Republicans in the state, McCrory's failure to win a clear majority on Tuesday can only be seen as a loss for him. Remarkably, there were more than 50,000 more votes cast in North Carolina in the race for governor than there were for president. A lot of people were moved to the polls to vote McCrory out, who chose not to cast a vote for either Trump or Clinton. And while there will be much debating as to what issues and demographics ultimately decided Trump's victory, to me, it seems pretty clear that McCrory's re-election became a referendum on House Bill 2, which unfortunately for McCrory will be his legacy, despite doing some good things financially for the state. Looking at how well Trump and other Republicans did in North Carolina, you would think a conservative vote might have affirmed HB 2 and propelled McCrory to victory. But two things I think happened. First, I think even people who voted for North Carolina's Amendment 1 banning gay marriage a few years ago realized that HB 2 was wholly unnecessary and that there was no imminent bathroom threat to our women and children, and that while they may not have thought about it before, they realized they were probably peeing in the same restrooms as transgender people all the time, and it wasn't a big deal. And number two, the loss of sporting events, specifically the NCAA tournament games and the NBA All-Star Game, and to a lesser degree, ACC and other NCAA events, was a major factor. The people of North Carolina take pride in their schools and their teams, and they did not want North Carolina's brand to be one that gets blackballed by the NCAA, the NBA, and others. Regardless of who did what come negotiation time on an HB 2 compromise, McCrory was the man in charge, and the inability to get a deal done to prevent those entities from leaving town fell on him. And all the horse shows and hula bowls in the world weren't going to save him. What happens to HB 2 now? Who knows? The General Assembly didn't change much, so Cooper's power to reverse legislation seems pretty limited. But perhaps seeing McCrory's fate might make some senators and representatives up for re-election in 2018 more willing to strike a deal. But for now, let's just count all the votes. Although McCrory should probably just concede. For North Carolina Yesterday Today, I'm Hayes Permar.